In Palm Ridge, the case against that former police officer accused of killing her family members for the insurance. Linda Mnisi, our reporter, standing by for you. Linda, good afternoon to you once and again. An astonishing story before the court case today, and then more drama in the hearing.
Absolutely, Stephen. You would have seen this morning Rosemary Ndlovu arriving in court, really upbeat. I spoke to her and had an interaction briefly with her about how she was feeling, this morning, saying that, in fact, she was okay. She woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. She, wore makeup because she knew that we were coming. She said she saw us yesterday and she knew that she was coming, so she was okay, giving journalists an opportunity also to take pictures. But of course, during those proceedings, we heard the judge constantly having to interject, telling her that at this particular point, it's not about dealing with the merits or the demerits of the case, that in fact, at this point, she was just being asked to give comment to what the state is alleging. You'll remember the state has brought about 53 witnesses to the stand, many of them who have made different kinds of allegations and, of course, brought evidence against her. So at this particular point, the judge really saying that she's struggling with how she answers questions, because at this point it's not about her, speaking about issues around motives or, dealing with the merits and the demerits of the case, but really her responding to why certain people would say certain things about her and why certain, versions would come out of a court. But just as we're about to wrap up, we heard the issue around how she's been speaking to the interpreter, the court saying that it's quite displeased in the manner that she's carried herself. There's been witnesses that have taken to the stand who spoke about the fact that they were threatened by the accused, and that the court did not quite take that lightly, and that it really had an issue with how she was conducting herself, and that it was very important that she respects everybody in court. Stephen?
And Linda, obviously what we're also going to see is the sort of questions being put to her. How would you describe the presiding officer, the judge in this case? How would you describe the way that he's been dealing with things? Again, this is an exceptional case.
Indeed, Stephen. You look at how he has constantly been saying that he does not want the defense to cut corners in this case, giving them ample time to prepare, but also make sure that they do what is expected of them in terms of processes. I already spoke about, how the defense has been asked to advise their clients to respond properly to certain questions that they are putting them. But it would also seem that the issue around context is very much important, because we've seen the judge, intervening and really trying to help the defense with, certain things, certain evidence that has been brought to court, saying, no, that was not what was said. This is what was said. So asking then for the accused, Rosemary Ndlovu, to respond to the questions. But you also look at, some of the things that, was put to her. For example, how she came to meet the alleged hitman who helped her ultimately, getting her arrested, saying that at first she did not know them. In fact, the one hitman who is Gunene, was Njabulo Gunene, in fact, was the brother of her friend Cebisile, and then, how she then came to meet even the other hitman, Lakiwe Mkhize. They were on their way to allegedly killing one of her nephews, Nomasonto, but that mission was aborted. The accused in this matter, Rosemary, denies most of what has been put to her, saying that even with the video footage that we saw, Stephen, she was coached by the hitman to say all the things that she was saying when she was caught on camera.
We've been watching again those images. You caught them earlier, Linda, with your team, of her really posing, the way she behaved. Some of what she did today really quite extraordinary at the start of proceedings.
Even during the break, Stephen, you'll remember she asked for just a quick break so that she could use the bathroom. when she came back, how she's been constantly interacting with journalists, saying that she knows that, she will be all over the news. She says, I know that you will be calling me a criminal. I know I'll be all over the news. It will be breaking news. Rosemary, the criminal. That's what she says when she was in court, quite open to journalists, even before this court case started this morning. But at the end of those proceedings, what we saw, she just picked up her bag and, of course, left. But also, you remember that just towards the end of these proceedings, the state or the defense was dealing with the issue around her sister Audrey Ndlovu's passing, which happened in 2013. Now, she was found in her rented room in Tembisa, allegedly poisoned and strangled. We saw her there, shedding a tear, detailing, how she came to know about, her sister's death, even saying that on the day that, she came to her, the sister had asked for money to go to work. She even bought her meat, saying that they had tea, and then she came across one of the neighbors who then said, the last time I saw your sister was when you guys were together yesterday. So the state in that particular issue is arguing that she may have slipped something into her drink, her tea, and then, of course, went to the doctor, came back and found that she was still alive, and then strangled her, left, and then came back tomorrow morning trying to see and looking for her. So right at the end, she was answering to all of those questions, and that is why we saw her crying in court. So it's really been quite an interesting day. It remains to be seen, really, what will come out of the proceedings tomorrow, as she's set to come back and take the stand.
Linda Mnisi, thanks very much indeed. Your job there not done, although perhaps it is for today. And, of course, more on that extraordinary story as we go through the evening and into tomorrow as well.